What's going on, GMB pros, GMB pros, those that are on the live, those that are catching the replay? Thank you for joining us today with Micah. And today is going to be more of a round table, guys, on, rank and rent. Reached out to a few of you, a few of you reached out to me as far as the, like rank and rent, like some questions are pretty good questions. So I figured that we can do a round table today, like best practices and challenges for the rank and rent model. So as many of you, if you're not familiar with Micah, those that are catching the replay, Micah is has his own platform for the rank and rent model where you can sell your leads. That way, once you have a ranking website or a GMB that's bringing in calls, if you don't have that client or you don't want to have to deal with tracking or you don't want to have to deal with, where do I do with these leads? Mike has that solution for us in the rank and rent. He has tons of experience, with GMBs and ranking and selling websites and running a business that is truly a business. Sometimes I wish, and me and Michael will have conversations. Man, we should have recorded this, and because we get into like some deep conversations. Mike has been a true mentor, friend, guidance, and helping me look at things in different perspective. So we had 5 questions, guys, that kind of like encompass some of the questions I've been getting, some of the as far as the rank and rent model that I think it's worth covering. And I threw them on the chat there, Micah. I'm not sure if you can see it. And then I figured we just go down through them all. And then if Frederick or Financial Freedom, that's right, Financial Freedom Fighters, if you guys can if you guys come up with any, or if this is something that kind of encompass yours, or if this triggers a question, feel free to just chime in as well. So I want to welcome everybody. So you want to knock the first one out here, Micah? How does rank and rent model differ from traditional SEO practices for business websites?
Okay, so it does differ in the sense that our rank and rent or pay-per lead model websites, they should not present as an actual service company, right? You should not be presenting the content as like, call us, we're the best plumbers in Los Angeles, for example. Because one, you're not. 2, it's against the law to represent yourself as a company, right, within the home services, at least in California, and you're not certified, right, which is penalizable with, federal time, fines, etc. Plus, I mean, who wants that responsibility anyways, right? Being an actual service company, you have tons of overhead and all that stuff as well. So in the sense of how does it differ from best practices, the first main best practice point is to not present your website or GMBs as the end company that the client is going to deal with, right? So within your websites, you'll want to position them as basically we're a third-party provider, right, that connects you with the best professionals in your area. Which also distances you from the legalities of if that contractor that they end up going with messes up, and then either they have insurance or they don't, they can then try to say, oh, well, we contacted XYZ pros, thought they were the people that did the business, and now you're in the middle of a legal battle. If you position your website correctly and just say we are a free third-party service, blah, 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 you remove yourself from the middle of the whole legalities of contractor, home service person, and potentially ending up upside down in your company. So that's a best practices there about a
So,
position.
so you said add a disclaimer then, basically.
Yeah, you must have a disclaimer. Yes. Yes. The
Okay.
traditional way that gurus teach you, oh, let's build this as, tree service pros, XYZ, Atlanta, whatever, and like you're the last company, right? Like that it is the company. That's not how you do it. You need to have a disclaimer on your site saying you are literally a third party. Um, because at the end of the day, if you don't have that there on your website, you're potentially liable, right, for being even the facilitator of the transaction. But by having a disclaimer, you're protecting yourself from being associated with the whole transaction, right? You're like, I'm just a middleman facilitating the transaction from caller to company that's buying the call.
Awesome, guys. Awesome. All right. Question number two that we had come in is, what are the key challenges in a successfully implementing a rank and rent strategy? Oops. Let me see. It just moved. Rank and rent strategy, and how can they be overcome? What is the challenges in successfully implementing a rank and rent strategy, and how can they be overcome?
Well, across my decade of experience, the most challenging part is actually hunting down the clients, right, that are going to pay you. And then once you hope and pray that they do sign the contract, your next task is to actually get those people to pay their invoice once you bill them. So first it's actually getting the client that's interested in it and signing the contract, then following up on them actually succeeding and paying you for those as well. That's going to be your biggest challenge in that particular order. But the most important one obviously is once they sign it, if they actually pay you, right? Because you can get any Tom, Dick, and Harry to say, oh yeah, I want your leads, and then you send them a month's worth of leads or how many ever, and they make, X times the value of a client or service, and then they don't pay you at all. And now you're back to square one, actually negative square three, because now not only did you lose a month, you've done all the work, and now you have to start over prospecting another client. And that's one of the main reasons why I've turned my software public, right? Because this has been an internal build for us to manage our clients internally and just forward the calls, get the billing and all that set up and everything. And it alleviates that problem for people, right? You don't have to find the clients. You don't have to have them sign the contracts. You don't have to chase them down for billing. You don't have to deal with disputes. You don't have to deal with the churn rate, right? We do that. There's just always someone in there for you to monetize your leads with. And it's your customer acquisition cost is now what, like literally 50 cents, right? For a Signal Wire or a Twilio phone number. You set up a new phone number, that's your customer acquisition cost. You're not hunting down people anymore.
Okay. I
With
think
all that HR.
this is a good follow-up here, Micah. How do you go about finding lead buyers and offer? Okay, how do you find lead buyers and offer value, a good place to find offers? Also, don't you have to take precautions in sharing? I imagine what he's saying here.
Okay, I was saying, what I was saying is offer a good place to find lead buyers, and also how do you take precautions against shaving
Yeah,
from lead buying companies?
I'll get to that one second. I'm still answering the 5 questions up there, so I will definitely not overlook that. But we'll go down with these first 5 questions right here that were asked previously.
Okay.
Bang those out in order instead of trying to skip around.
All right, go for it. So the third question is, how do you determine most profitable niches or industries for rank and rent websites?
This is one of our best conversations we have had that we did not get to actually recording. So it's glad that it's come up. It's a very good question. It is actually like the key question you should be asking yourself of what you should be building, right? Because this stupid guru mentality of this let's build it and they will come bullshit that they teach, right? This doesn't happen. You don't just go building something and then hope that someone's going to be there, right? I mean, if you have the resources to, then fine. But most people starting out aren't going to be able to go and build 3 or 4 websites and hope that someone's going to rent some, I don't know, exotic vacuum cleaner company, right? Like, who? Yeah, it's low hanging fruit, but I mean, who's really going to monetize and buy those calls to repair vacuums from you, right? So me and Alfredo have actually had quite a few discussions about this because people ask him that as well, and then he comes to me with the same question. And basically, I had told him like, one, do you even have someone that's interested in the leads, right? Or do you have somewhere to send the leads? Is the second one. So basically, the best way to pick the niche is one that you have to monetize instantly. And if you don't have anything to monetize instantly, why are you even building it? Because it takes months to build up the SEO to get calls. If you're doing it slowly, right, with a website and then getting a GMB and stuff. If you just do a bunch of GMBs, obviously you can get those in a month. But then again, still the basis is that do you have someone to monetize them with, right? If you don't have monetization for anything, then none of the niches are profitable. Period. If you can't monetize them, none of them are profitable. So don't build any of them. If you can monetize them, then build the one that will pay you the most with the least amount of SEO work.
So hopefully that makes sense, guys. Build what monetizes. That's the riches, or that's the way you can determine a profitable niche, right? Can
Yeah.
you turn around and sell that like right away?
And
And then
I have a little hack that would go in between that, right? Is like just building something random and building something that you already have like a client for. The best in the middle case would be like, okay, if Alfredo was my brother, right? I can go build a website and sell him or like give him the plumbing leads. Then I know that the SEO works. He's seen the value in it, and I can go, hey, Alfredo, do you want to pay me for that website now, right? Like someone that's a close associate is like a kind of middle ground hack that like you don't need to go prospect for clients. They're more than likely going to convert because you already have a social connection, right, and relationship with these people, so they're familiar with you already, versus just trying to go and build some random website, send it to some random company in the local area, follow up 2 months later and hope and pray that they sign something, right? So that's a little bit of a hack in between to get your like SEO experience and like to show someone provided value. And then you can also use it as like a social proof. You know, they can give you a social recommendation on your Facebook and say, hey, you know, he did build a website that brought, you know, X amount of leads or dollars or whatever you're going to allow for the social proof there. So that's kind of a little bit of a hack to get in between both of those if you don't have instant monetization and you don't have the resources to build something out for 3 months for free, because that's going to be how long it takes. Typically, it's around 3 months to build out, you know, a website, GMB, Yelps, your citations, and all that.
awesome. Okay, so that's a great tip. You know, your circle of influence, right? Those that are around you, you can build something for them and build them out, build out your case study that way as well, right?
Yep.
So number 4, the question 4 that we got is what are the ethical considerations and potential risks involved in rank and rent methods for both website creator and the renting business?
So this kind of cross-pollinates with question 1,
Mm.
what are the ethical considerations? And like I said, that's also another part of not only are you like legally covering your ass, right? CYA on putting a disclaimer and stuff, but you're also ethically like, hey, we're not a company, right? Like hold up guy that's calling, right? We're not the company. We're just referring you to someone. So you're ethically telling them like, I'm not a legit company that you're calling for a home service. You're just calling us to connect to someone. But so back to the business side of this, sort of is like SEO best practices, somewhat. Building the rank and rent assets also makes it kind of a job security, right? In the sense that you're not doing traditional SEO for those people on their website assets. So when you get to the first place position and they go, oh yeah, we don't need you no more, and they fire you, like you're doing your rank and rent or PPL agency, you actually own the leads, and so it gives you job security, but it also gives you the flexibility and power, right, to like not deal with those hard to deal with or just straight complete jackass contractors, right? You can go, okay, well, I don't want to deal with you no more. You done ruined the reputation of my GMB, or you just haven't paid long enough, and you just in the back end and forward it to another client that's willing to pay you on time. So those are the ethical and best practice sides of the rank and rent. As far as the website creator, technically they're not really liable, right? They're just the creator of the website, and all they're doing is what they were told by the person that either, you know, gave them the provisions or gave them the details in the order. So there's nothing to be worried about on the website creator's end. Right? The person putting in the order and providing the details of how that website is to be displayed to the public is the people that are potentially at risk. And that's why I go back to the disclaimer. You need to have a disclaimer in your footer, or at least somewhere, even if it's just a little informational I somewhere, right? Like maybe next to a phone number. It can't be like the same color as the background kind of stuff. Like how we used to stuff content into folds and stuff is the same color. You can't do that because that's not covering your ass, right? Like the person seeing the website is not able to see that easily. If there's an informational I dot or some kind of little disclaimer at the bottom there, they can see that. Whether they willingly scroll down to the bottom or not, that's not your fault, right? But if you have it somewhere publicly accessible, that's how you are likely covering your own ass.
Cool. Excellent. Now, the fifth question here that we got is how has rank and rent, the rank and rent method evolved with the changing landscape of search engine algorithms and user behavior?
Well, technically, rank and rent is just a sub niche of SEO, so it's basically the same aspects of how overall SEO has changed within the UGC, SGCE, or whatever it's called now, and the users basically experience within Google search results. So it's not, as far as the rank and rent model, it's not specific to that, but SEO as an overall, because we're literally just doing SEO to our own assets is the only difference.
Beautiful. Okay, and then Frederick had that one he brought in. You want to cover that one as far as lead finding lead buyers?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so Frederick's question is, how do you go about finding lead buyers? And this two-part is offer vault, a good place to find offers. Third part is also, don't you have to take precautions to shaving? I'm not sure what that part 3 means, but I'll cover the first parts and then I'll let you go ahead and explain that a little bit further on, Mike. So how to go about finding lead buyers. This is an outreach process. So however you within your organization would go about normal client outreach. an acquisition, you would just do it with a different sales pitch, right? Same process, all that stuff. You would be pitching more, hey, we have leads for a flat fee a month, instead of, hey, do you want us to do your internet marketing for your company, as a internet marketing agency? So in that sense, it's basically the same outreach. You just change your pitch, right, to find lead buyers. And that would go for PPO and rank and rent model. So if those two would be technically a tiny bit different wording from each other as well, because rank and rent is just mainly a flat fee monthly rental versus P per lead. PPL is paying literally per call, per duration, per qualification. So that would change up your wording and your pitch just a tiny bit more between the two different types of just regular client outreach as a traditional SEO agency. So the second part, offer vault. Yeah, so the thing about offer vault and say like even ring partner and whatever other ones you may find that are like public like that. One, your downside is going to be typically those platforms require you to apply per campaign, right? So every single different campaign you want to run with them, you need to reapply, restating all of your different qualifications. What are your websites, your traffics, what are your goals? Are you going to apply to or abide by our terms of service, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, which you can see the hassle in that part, first of all, because you have to apply to every single one. Two is the process on the back end of applying to each one, depending on which sectors they are, can vary widely and kind of long term. So I'll put it this way: my first few that I tried to apply within Ring Partner, one was like a $31 call, and another one was like $52. Point blank, basically, I lied out my ass about my experience for about 8 months on LinkedIn, Zoom meetings, etc. Right? Because it was my first year of doing SEO, rank and rent stuff back in the day when GMBs were really easy to get. And so that's the second part, is like now at 8 months, right, of trying to get applied just to 2 campaigns. That wasn't even like all of the other stuff that we were trying to build within our agency to sell leads and websites, stuff like that. And so, I mean, that's another part about the public things. The third and final part, which is probably most key, once you get past all of that bullshit right on the front end, now you need to deal with their durations, right? Which typically, I don't know if you've ever looked them up, Alfredo, or if anybody ever else has and wants to chime in here on this. Most of the industry is 120 seconds, 2 minutes for like $20, $30 payouts, right? Versus the self pitch here is, within our system where you can monetize all of your leads instantly, right? No applications, no applying. You literally go to a dashboard, look up what offers are there, and start building that. Our typical average duration billable is like 45 seconds, 50 seconds for typically roughly 40 to 60% of the same price as Ring Partner or whoever else public software you're going to be like applying to and all of that. So Frederick, if you can hop on your mic and explain that. Also, don't you have to take precautions to shaving part? And then I can address that a little bit more if you don't mind.
So like shaving is like when you was explaining like the call duration, or or just the like that's why a lot of people are buying like phone numbers to track on their side, because if you just use their number that they give you, they can say, oh yeah, we didn't get that lead or it didn't count. But that's why tracking is important, kind of, because tracking for yourself because they could try to say, "Oh, that wasn't a good lead," or but you know that the duration was it exceeded the time that you agreed to. So a lot of times, a lot of people don't get paid because they try to say the call wasn't good or something like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So the disputing part and all that stuff. Yeah, yeah. So that's also back to the self pitch of like we deal with a lot of that on our back end. But if you're doing your own clients off the platform or whatever, just in general, it's always best practice to have a call tracking that has, the voice recording. So you have the audio file, you can see the call length, you hear it, you can, see if they actually did book an appointment, et cetera, like that. So call tracking is crucial here. I think for any internet marketing, I don't know why people within other industries of internet marketing don't use call tracking either. Just because, I mean, just for that reason, right? It's a quality assurance, quality control issue that one, you can monitor the calls and make sure that they're legit, they're not getting spammed, and two, make sure that, both parties on either end and the third party, us, obviously, as we're the mediators and facilitators of these, aren't getting burnt. So that's just a key standard of why you should be having your own call tracking on everything. Then you can easily dispute that information and say, no, look, it did meet, 50 seconds, minute and 20 seconds call duration. What you said on that call, I don't care. Our duration and our billable agreement was to stick to the 120 seconds or 50 seconds or whatever your agreements may be. This is also another part of the headache of the rank and rent and even the pay-per lead on the back end, right? Is you need to have contracts actually in place with these things to where if they say no, then you actually have them signed. They can be financially responsible for it, right? Then they have to fess up, own up, and pay up. And that's what a lot of people starting out don't know. And who, first of all, who starting out, right, your agency, if you're even formed right with your formations, has the money or resources that they're going to go expend to a lawyer to draw you up these contracts correctly. Then you need a lawyer to enforce them later on as well. So that's why I truly believe using Cyber Depot, our software, is actually exponentially beneficial to companies to scale their revenue. You don't deal with any of that HR on the back end. We literally have the buyers on there. We deal with the churn. We get, the best rates. As you can see, you can go into Offer Vault, I'm sure, since you mentioned it, you've looked on there plenty of times to see, the billable durations and the payouts. Our typical payout is 45 seconds. Our average industry payout within home services is around 30, I think it's like $36 or somewhere around there, $30 to $40, just depending on like how big the metro is. But home services industry average within our client base is around $30 to $40 for like 45 seconds, 40 seconds, 50 seconds ish, anywhere in between there. So
Did that answer your question, Frederick? Kind of clear up the waters a little bit. Let's see. And then we have.
I have a question for Frederick. Have you looked on Offer Vault a lot?
Yeah, I look at it. It's different buyers on there, but yeah, I looked on there a couple of times. Before I was doing rank and rent, I was kind of doing paper call. That's kind of how I learned, and then I learned more about rank and rent. So,
Yeah.
but kind of can avoid like some of the principles cross over, but you can kind of avoid the shaving a little bit better when you control the asset. So it's like when you at their mercy, like you was explaining, you at their mercy when you doing paper call or paper lead. But when you own and control the asset, you can negotiate better. So that was just something that I realized. Because some people do kind of like a hybrid model. They'll build it and then they'll find a lead buyer and then they'll try to rent it out or. So it's kind of like some people use a hybrid model.
Yeah, and speaking of hybrid models, that's kind of what I've explained to people about the software as well, is that one, you can do a hybrid in this sense, right? So if you are truly set on a rank and rent model, right, but you don't want to wait, until you actually find a client 4 months down the road when you're generating a significant amount of leads for them while you're building it out. This is what I try to explain to people: is build it out and stick them within the software and monetize all the calls that are coming in now while you're doing the SEO, right? So you're still making a trickle bit of money while you're doing the SEO. So you're offsetting your cost, right? You're actually recouping some of your cost as you're building it out. Two, you're getting actual metrics as well as you go along, right? So then when you go to hit that customer that you're been researching the last 3-4 months to approach for renting this asset out, you can say, hey, local electric company, I've been building this website up, or whatever, however you want to pitch it, for 4 months, right? I generate roughly 300 calls a month. I make about $1,200 a month now through this platform. Are you interested in it? Or you can have, basically, you're collecting all your own metrics, right, that you're going to use as firepower once you present this rank and rent asset to that prospect. So there's a three-pronged approach there with the hybrid model, right? You're still building it out, you're still getting monetized, but you also have actual real backed data to go to this company and say, here are some real numbers, not like, oh, well, we're going to pre-sell you on the idea of this website generates 300 calls a month. No, this is legit what's already came in the last 4 months, and it's a lot higher conversion rate, I'll tell you that. That's sort of what we do with pay per lead, right? Is we tell them, okay, well, you're paying a flat rate per month, right, for a website, but would you rather pay for only the calls that come in that are within the billable agreement, which may amount to less, or on good months it may amount to more, and then we convert them to pay per lead.
So that's excellent. That kind of bled into like the hybrid, right? Kind of doing SEO / rank and rent.
Yeah.
So good stuff. So guys, that was the questions that I had received. I wanted to cover those questions. If Kyle or Financial Freedom or Mundo, if this triggered another question for you guys, feel free. This is going to be more of a roundtable for the rank and rent model. So feel free, to ask any questions if you triggered anything, if you ever wondered. Micah has a lot of years of experience. He deals with this on a daily basis, right? As far as within his platform. And I use this platform, so I can tell you, like, the duration times are a whole lot less. You have more of opportunity in if you're getting calls, right? Each call has more of an opportunity to get monetized a lot more than, anything else out there, right? So, little self promotion for Micah.
I do want to address Frederick's last little question there. He says, should there be a page just for the disclaimer or just add it to the home page? Personally, don't make a whole page. Just add a little disclaimer at the footer, within the footer, and make it like a sentence or two. It don't need to be this drawn out contract. Just so it's something that's there. It's highly distinguishable. Whether they scroll down the page or not doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, as long as you have it there and it's it's on the home page. I don't do full pages. I used to do that before. But it's less coverage, right? That way you're a little bit less likely to be covered because it's another page that you're linking to, so they have to go to another page to read it, right? If you just have one or two sentences on the bottom says, we're a free site connecting you to blah, 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 it's right there on that page. So it's not like they can say, oh, well, I didn't go to another page, or I didn't know that I had to go to another page to see that. It's right there on that home page. Everything that they need is on that home page. There's no questions asked. There's no deference. There's no discrepancies. There's no disputing it, right? So just keep it on the home page and you'll be good.
Awesome. All right, guys, if we don't have any more questions, again, this is good. It was more of a roundtable today. We're gonna go ahead and call it. Hopefully you guys found some value, give you some aha moments, something to think about, and, keep moving forward with your method, or keep polishing, what you have now. If you have anything that you have not monetized, reach out to Micah, see if we can help you get those monetized within the platform. It's very affordable, very, very easy to plug into.
Yeah, I was just going to mention on that too. Starting next year, I think it's probably mid-January or so. Once I finish the full revamping of it, it's going to raise the price to $149. Right now, it's only $97. So if you think, you prospect more than 5 hours a month, it's definitely a no-brainer for you then. And that's if you value yourself at $20 an hour, right? I don't know, most SEOs here should be valuing yourself at least $50 to $75 an hour, if not more. So essentially, if you do more than 2 hours of prospecting a month for clients to sell or rent these assets, it's a complete no-brainer, let alone the fact of all the HR that we do on the back end, right? We do all the disputes, the hassling, right? The churn rate. We have multiple buyers for certain areas. And if we don't have a particular offer that you want to, or you're very good at, get with me. This is also a benefit of it, right? Is that like I'm the platform owner, so you can get with me. It's not like some big old SaaS like Ahrefs where they just up the price and you never hear from anybody, right? We actually work really closely with you guys because, as I said, when I first started this was my pain point in my agency, was figuring out how to monetize the shit I was building. And it took forever to get this going. And a lot of learning, training, failing, succeeding at different parts, etc., to get it. So yeah, again, we'll be raising the price to $150 a month, probably mid-January or so. Because we're redeveloping a lot of it. Actually, the content tool, which will have automated websites, etc., will come out in January.
Is there a link? Can you post a link in the chat?
I believe Alfredo has one.
Yeah, I think so. Let me get it for you guys. Let's see. Frederick, I'll get you that. Let's see here. I'll get you that. If on the replay, and I think I've had other ones that I posted it on, Frederick, as far as the link, but I'll get that and then throw it on there on the replay for you. But other than that, guys, with that being said, I'll look out for the replay. I'll put the link for Micah's platform on there, and that way you guys can take a look at it. Okay, cool. Thanks, Mike. Micah just put it up there.
I think that's it. But that's the base URL right there. Yeah.
It says page not found on this one, Micah. Let's see. At least on my end. So we'll get that over to you guys on the replay either way.
Yeah.
And
put it in the notes.
Yeah, and then with that being said, guys, I'll catch you tomorrow. Tomorrow we have, let me see, just to put it out there for you guys. Tomorrow. Oh, it's Charles. So I'm excited to see Charles tomorrow on the GMB Pros, and that is going to be at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So I look forward to you guys tomorrow. With that being said, again, much love, much success, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.
Cheers.